All right, guys, what's up, everybody? Welcome to I think the term is penultimate, right? Is that the second to last, right? Penultimate? Sweet. All right, welcome to the penultimate call for the year 2019. We will have a call next Sunday as well. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about something. I feel like a radio show host today. This is a special request. Tonight's training is a special request from a longtime listener, longtime caller. It's a special request. I'm not going to name the caller, but it's a special request. Okay, how many? I feel like a radio host. Oh, I'd be a terrible radio host. I get so distracted. I would never stay on topic. I'd be the worst, right? I would be the worst. Okay, I would be terrible. Like even right now, like I can't. Like I'm too ADD for radio.
You have 30 short minutes.
And now I have 24. All right, cool. So how many of you hear all the time, and for those of you guys who are brand new, you're going to start to hear this all the time. How many of you are familiar with the term, or you've heard other leaders say things like, you got to cast the vision, or you hear things like, I want to cast the vision, I don't know how to cast the vision. How many of you have had that experience where you hear people say things like, cast the vision? Just type in the chat box or wave your hands or whatever, right? Right? You hear things like, you got to cast the vision. It's all about casting the vision. It's all about casting the vision. But ultimately, then the question becomes, what does that even mean? What does that even look like? What does that even sound like? How do I even do that? Right? So tonight, what we're going to do is it a fishing lure? Okay. Right. So this is the other reason I couldn't do it. I'm just so easily distracted. All right. So casting the vision, we're going to dispel a couple of myths about casting the vision. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay forward to you how I've learned how to do it. And hopefully you will find some value in it. So the biggest myth about casting the vision, this is the biggest myth about casting the vision. And I hope that this immediately releases some stress that you might carry around this idea, around this skill set. Because again, just seeing from all the yeses, I've heard what it means, but I'm not really sure what it looks like, right? It creates a little bit of stress, right? So the big myth, believe it or not, around casting the vision is you don't cast the vision. We don't cast the vision as associates. They do. That's right, Sid. So they do. Our job is not to cast the vision. Our job is to ask questions that allow somebody to cast their own vision. See, one of the challenges, and there are some people that do this brilliantly, I just don't think it's effective. One of the challenges with you essentially being the one who is cultivating what the vision or the dream kind of should be, when you do that, you're really taking away from a person's ability to stimulate their own imagination and their own creativity. And when you take that power away from them, when you take away the power to cultivate your own imagination, someone's imagination and their own creativity, the reality of them actually pursuing the thing that you've designed on their behalf, the reality of them pursuing it, at least in a long-term sustainable way or in a way that cultivates urgency. I'm going to turn the word cultivate into a drinking game tonight. I've said it like 15 times already, right? It's a good word, right? So that's really important to keep in mind. So that's one of the biggest myths about casting the vision is we don't cast the vision. So what we do, and some of you guys are writing it in the chat box already, is exactly, and Dana said, use my favorite metaphor, is we take, essentially, we say, here's the canvas, here's the paintbrush, here are all the colors, you start to paint. Now, one of the biggest challenges that people have with painting that canvas is what? What do you think stifles people the most when it comes to this process? Can anyone tell me? Why have people lost vision in their lives? Limiting beliefs, what else? Fear, sure. Limiting beliefs. They don't know what's possible, don't know where to start, the reality of it. They feel like they can't do it. They have judgments, right? They're on limiting beliefs. They have naysayers. There's overwhelm. no support, scarcity mindset. Okay. Yes, 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 and yes to everything that you're saying. But the biggest reason that people struggle with this part is because, just like so many of you and so many of us, there was a point in their lives where essentially they were told to stop imagining, to stop dreaming, to stop thinking outside of the box. And essentially what happens is you stop thinking outside of the box, and all that you can see is the box. That's all you can see. Now, maybe for some people, their box is more of a cube and it's clear. And that's the most of the people you're encountering, they live in a box. Box is clear, but it has a bunch of smudge all over the sides of it. So it's like they can kind of see that there's something on the other side of it, but they've decided that there's really no point in trying to explore what's out there because everyone else that's in the box with them tells them, don't waste your time. The last woman that tried to scrub off the smudge, it didn't work for her. She failed at it. She looked like an idiot. He went broke doing it. Nobody respects him, right? Blah, 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 blah. And so what happens is you're living inside of this box. People are living inside of this box going, well, I feel like there's something on the other side, but there's such a negative pull coming from the inside of the box that they allow themselves to stop believing, they allow themselves to stop dreaming, they allow themselves to stop seeing what's possible in their lives. Now, let's just have a really pure moment, right? All of us together. How many of you, before you found Isogenics, before you had people starting to speak life through you and into you, before you started to have people ask you questions that got you to say yes to this, how many of you can relate to being in that box? Just type in the chat, right? How many of you guys can relate to what that feels like? I know I can for sure. I absolutely remember what life was like in that regard. Okay, still in it sometimes, absolutely. I can definitely appreciate that. Okay, so our job is to ask questions. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be a master facilitator to ask these questions. You don't have to be a masterful coach to ask these questions. Quite frankly, all you have to do to be able to ask these questions, you have to do one thing and one thing only, and it starts with a C. Can anyone tell me what it is? Care. All you gotta do is care. That's the most important thing when it comes to asking these questions. Because if you care and you're committed to what's being shared with you, to what this person's describing as happening inside their box, and then they're describing what they want on the outside of the box. When you care about it, you become vested in the success of not just having a conversation about what life can look like for them, but you become vested in you being totally committed to doing everything in your power to assist them in creating that new reality. Because here's the thing. The minute you start asking these questions, and the minute you start to help somebody's imagination open, you have a responsibility and an obligation to walk side by side, step by step, as long as they're willing, as long as they're matching energy, until. Now, should I keep going, or is there anybody in this that's not down for that? Is there anybody here that's watching that's not down for that? Anybody? Okay, cool. I didn't think so. We got a great team. Got a great group. Okay? So, you guys are awesome. I love you. I really do. I really adore all of you. And there are people on here.
Same.
Eden does too. She's sitting over here.
So much same.
Yep. Eden's having what are you doing over there? She's chilling. Eden's just chilling, just listening tonight.
I'm learning.
Allie says we love you, Eden.
Learning from the greatest.
I don't know about that.
I love you, Allie.
Okay, I don't know about that.
I'm also watching.
Oh, dang. That was from Jesse on Allie's account. So Allie apparently does not love you, but Jesse loves you. So there's that.
Jesse.
Okay. All right. So it's so simple, but the intention has to be one with care, and there has to be a real willingness to listen so hard that it hurts. And you have to be willing to hold space when you're asking these questions of when they're giving their answers, and you're going to hear what that sounds like in just a moment. You got to go with them energetically. You got to go with them energetically. So for example, some of you guys on here are parents, right? Some of you are new parents. and you have kids that run around, and let me ask you guys, just again, I'm not a parent, okay, but I've been a child, and I've been around a lot of kids. How many of you, when your kids, were like, when they first were able to express their imagination, how many of you were willing at first to kind of play that game with them, and you would see yourself on a rocket ship with them, or you would see yourself like storming the castle? How many of you would allow yourselves to play with the kids early on? But the older they got and the more they did it, the more you kind of went through the motions of, all right, buddy, cool, kill the dragon, right? Like, we're astronauts tonight. Right. And I would imagine I'm sure as a parent, right, it gets tiring in that way. I bet. I'm sure I was exhausting as a child in that way. Right. But as we grow up, guys, and we lose sight of people in our networks in our lives who are willing to stimulate this type of imagination, this type of conversation, when you choose to show up in someone's life in this capacity, you got to be willing to go there with them. You got to be able to go there with them, because remember, one of the biggest reasons they're not really willing to go there verbally with you, and again, I'm going to demonstrate what it sounds like. One of the biggest reasons they're not willing to go there is because they're terrified of what's on the other side of that box. The uncertainty of what's on the other side of taking a leap in our lives is the biggest thing that prevents us from forward movement. How many of you, just type in the chat box, how many of you can relate to that? How many of you right now aren't taking as much action as you could because the uncertainty of what might happen when you do? And all of a sudden, we're doing a training tonight that's about you guys training other people, and surprise, it relates to you as well. And why? Because we're all mirrors and we're all reflections for each other, which is why when you show up in that mirroring position with somebody else, you coming forward in a way that is clean and authentic, and where you're holding a space of possibility is everything. And when you have this conversation with somebody, whether it's one-on-one in a coffee shop, on a Zoom, on a phone call, or in a room full of 10,000 people, for that 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long it takes, they get to feel like they are the only person in the world, they're the only one whose dreams matter, and they're the only person who in that moment you are totally convicted of being a presence in their life to help facilitate this. It's got to be non-negotiable. Otherwise, frankly, you're unfortunately creating you're setting somebody else up for failure, because they got to know that you're going to be there by their side. Okay, cool. So here's how simple this can be. Now, this might happen when this situation typically arises when somebody's expressed an interest in the opportunity, they've gotten started in the opportunity, right? You have an idea of how much additional income they want to make in their life, and now you get on a Zoom with them or you meet for coffee, and you just start to peel back the onion. And it's a very simple question. And my favorite question to open with, simplest question. I've asked this question to many of you. Simple question, opens it all up. What do you want? What do you want? Now, oftentimes, people will respond by saying something like, what do you mean? In regards to what? And my answer is, in regards to however you would like to answer the question. What do you want? Well, I really want to be able to stay home with my kid so that I don't have to miss any more firsts. Okay, cool. So let's just imagine for a second that happens. Tell me more about what a day would look like in the life of Hillary or Ferris or Megan. Tell me a little bit more about what a day in the life of you would look like, provided you had that kind of freedom. And what might be some of the things you would say? Ferris, Megan, Hillary, feel free to type in the chat box. What might you say, right? So I ask, what do you want? You say, I'd love to be able to stay home with my kids. Great. Imagining we can make that happen, what might a day like that look like? Right? Feel free to type in the chat box. Let's just do a little active role play if you're open to it, right? It would be amazing. Great. So describe amazing, Ferris. Can you help me describe amazing? All right. So Ferris is going to be the person that plays with me tonight. Thank you. Okay, Ferris, let's do this. Come off mute. Oh yeah, we're doing it. Unmute. Oh no, wait. Okay,
Oh.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Ferris, say something.
You're coming up. Sorry, I'm at work. They're taking everybody up. No, you're good.
All right, so Ferris, so
It's
tell
so
me.
funny. I actually had this conversation with my daughter the other day. She goes, "Oh, I know, Mom. It's okay because you have to work because it's stupid, and you couldn't come to my sing thing at school." And I'm like, "I know. I could have been there." So a day for me, it would just be having that flexibility of saying yes. And I know we talk about it all the time, but for her, there's a lot of things that I have to say no to. And no, honey, I can't go to this. Or no,
Like-
honey, I can't.
Like what,
You know,
Ferris?
can't. Just going to any school activities or even volunteering at her school and just being present there. It's very, very difficult for me because I do work so much. And
What type of activities would you participate
they
in?
have, they have things where we can volunteer at the school, and so we can be there and read with the kids. And she asks me all the time to go, and I have to say no.
Okay, so I just want you to imagine for a second. So what I hear you saying, listen to my language, guys, as I role play with Ferris, right? What I hear you saying is that it would be amazing on any given day to go and be an active participant in your child's schooling. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. What time does school end every day?
It ends at 3:30.
Okay, and so are you wanting to be there to pick your kids up every day?
I take her every day. To pick her up every day would be amazing.
Okay, do you pick her up in your car?
Mm-hmm.
Do you love your car?
Yeah.
Do you ever dream about having a different car?
Yeah.
What kind of car would you get?
Probably a Jeep.
Nice. I used to have a Jeep. What kind of Jeep? Like a Grand Cherokee?
Yeah,
A
I
Wrangler?
actually just had one rental, and it was like brand new. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than the one I have.
Nice. What color would you get?
White.
White? What color interior?
Black.
Black? Leather or cloth?
Leather.
Nice. And would you have like the wood grain finish on the inside, or would it be like a matte black? Like, tell me about the
No, it's like
interior.
the matte silver.
Nice. And would you get like a custom like stereo system or anything like that?
100%.
100%. What kind of music do you like to listen to?
Anything and everything that has a good beat.
But on the best day, on like the best day, when you're just feeling it, when you're pulling up to your daughter's school because you spent some time with her in the classroom in the morning, you participated as a parent, then maybe you went and did some yoga or hung out with some friends or did whatever. Now you're back up at school and you're rolling up as the cool mom who's able to work from home and have all of her own independence. Guys, listen to what I'm doing, right? And you're in your brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee with the black leather interior, with that nice interior finish, white on the outside, with an upgraded stereo system. Like, what song is playing as you roll up into the school?
Honestly, probably some Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, cool. That's awesome. Right on. Great. And so now you pick your child up from school, you come home, and then what might happen next?
We would do homework and most likely discuss how the rest of her day was.
Okay. And when she says to you, my day was great, and we learned about Europe, do you feel in that moment like you wish you'd have the opportunity to take her to Europe so she could learn about it there as opposed to from a book?
It's really funny you say that. She actually said that to me the other day.
Okay, guys, we did not stage this, just to be very clear.
It's really funny. She's been learning about countries, but the fact that you said that, she said, Mom, that'd be really cool to go there since I'm learning about it. And I'm like, yeah, we will one day.
One day. Okay, so when you do go to Europe, where do you want to go? Where would be like the first place you would pick to go?
Honestly, I would probably want to just go to probably Italy to start, and then kind of head our way kind of up and through like the rest of it. Kind of, hit England, of course, hit France, and all those little places. The Netherlands is a big place that I think would be pretty amazing to see.
All of those places are amazing. Why Italy first?
It's always been a place that I've wanted to go. It's just something that I've always wanted to go there. And, I'm part Italian, so I definitely want to experience, that culture.
Okay. So is there a specific city in Italy, or would you kind of want to travel the whole country?
The whole country. The
whole country. And how would you want to travel? Like, would you want to like backpack and stay in hostels, or do you want to do like the whole like 5-star luxury experience? What do you prefer? Because I've done both.
I would probably be bougie and do the 5-star.
Cool. So you like nice things.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other nice things that you like or would love to have?
I would like to have a custom home.
A custom home? Where?
Preferably San Diego, but I'm okay if it's in Vegas.
No. I just want you to imagine for a second, Ferris, that you have a magic wand. And so you get to have the home wherever you want to be. So it can be San Diego, it can be Italy, it can be anywhere you want. Is it San Diego?
It would be San Diego.
Tell me about your custom home.
It's very clean lines, most likely 2-story. It's got a nice backyard for entertaining. It's got a pool. The furniture is very chic, but it's also very warming and inviting. And there's definitely a nice kitchen, white kitchen with stainless steel appliances. It's got all the matching stuff in it, and it's got that farm sink. But we also
which farm sink?
Things there. Huh?
Which farm sink? Like the one with the.
No, the sink itself is like it's basically it's huge, and then in the front, and obviously it's got the industrial, style, spout and things like that. And then it also has a nice window that looks out to the backyard so that I could watch Kylie outside.
Now, what's in the backyard? So the backyard is the pool, there's grass, the whole thing, and then
grass. You got the covered patio. You probably have an area that's got.
Hold on, Ferris. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but say I, because this is your custom house, not mine.
So we would have, the TV and some couches out there, so that for football and all that, because the husband's obsessed with sports. So he would have that, and in the back we would have a basketball court because he loves basketball.
Nice. And what would be yours in the house? Like, what would be yours? Would it be that sink and the view out to the backyard? Would that be like yours, or is it like a closet?
The kitchen and the living room, and now that you say closet, I mean that's like a whole nother level.
Let's go there. Tell me about the next level closet.
I would definitely have that magical closet where you walk in and you have all the clothes lined up in the shoe rack, and in the middle you have the jewelry. And it's your own little zen zone in there.
Wait, Ferris, we gotta stop. We gotta back up again. Remember, this is your closet, not my closet, right? So tell me about it again, but tell me about it from the first person, because I really want you to take ownership of this. It's yours.
So the closet, it's anyone's dream, but it's my dream to have the shoe rack. I'm obsessed with shoes.
Describe the shoe rack.
So the shoe rack, it's slanted slightly, and it goes all the way up as far. Not too far because I'm too short, so we don't want to go too far, but it is lit, so then all the shoes are lit, and then you have a huge island in the middle of the closet, and the drawers pull out, and you see all the jewelry and the sunglasses, and on the top there's a really nice vase with some beautiful flowers. Now,
are the shoes, tell me about the shoes. Like, how are they arranged? Are they arranged by color, by style, by designer? Like, how are they arranged on the racks?
It's definitely going to be by style. You have like active wear, you have comfy, and then you have your heels, something that's going to be more fashion. I really love, comfy shoes, sneakers. So that would be more the majority, and definitely color coded.
Okay, guys, we're at the top of the hour. That's it in a nutshell. Now, we could keep going, of course, but ultimately, type in the chat box, guys. What did you learn? Just type in the chat box right now. Let's just do like a little active. And let's also thank you, Ferris. Everybody go like this to Ferris. Let's celebrate her. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for stepping up. And now also thank you for giving us something to hold you accountable to. That's the other thing that we do when they cast the vision for themselves. Thank you. There is a question. Okay, so the segue to the next part is, we'll have to cover that on next week's show, everybody. Thank you for joining us. No. So the segue to the next part is, we're going to keep going, right? And we're going to probably dig a little bit deeper, and we're going to kind of find out what that vision is. And we're going to do a couple of different things. So one thing I might suggest is say, Ferris, what I would love to do is I'd love to see you put pictures to words. So I would love for you to spend some time putting together what I call a reality board. So I want you to find the closet. I want you to find the sink. I want you to find the home in San Diego. I want you to find that white Jeep Grand Cherokee with black leather interior, right? I want you to find an album cover of Travis Scott. I want you to find a picture of a mom participating in a classroom. Okay, I want you to find those things. I want you to find those things, and I just want you to put them together on a little bit of a poster board. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or crazy or anything like that, but if you want to get creative with it, go for it, right? And I just want you to have that reality board, and I want you to keep it in your mind's eye everywhere you are, every chance you get, I want you to be able to see that vision. I want you to see that vision. Now, here's the thing, Ferris. Here's what I want you to know. Now that you've given me your vision, I'm going to accept ownership of it to some degree, that it's also going to be my vision. Okay? And here's what I can promise you. You'll quit before I quit on you when it comes to you having a 2-story home in San Diego with a bay view window looking into the backyard with a basketball court, grass, a pool, right? I'm going to be right beside you. So we can create that vision together. How does that sound? And now every time or any time that Ferris is in a rut or she's frustrated or she's not in action, what do I hold back up? I hold back everything that we talked about. Ferris, are we going to Italy or are we not going to Italy? Are we going to England or are we not going to England? Are we going to France or are we not going to France? Are we going to the Netherlands or are we not going to the Netherlands? Are we doing this or are we not doing this? Because I'm on the other side of the box. I'm ready to go. But I can only step when you step. That's really important. I can only step when you step. Okay? All right, guys. I hope that was valuable for you. I hope that you guys, I hope that worked for y'all. Ferris, again, thank you for stepping up. And I'm going to post in the group, what did you learn? So please feel free to participate in that. And I love you guys. Have a good night.
I do too.
Eden does too. Bye. Don't forget, though, that Allie does not. Jesse loves you, but Allie doesn't. Bye, everybody.